Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be having a look at the Honor 400 series. So the Honor 400 Pro we looked at a few weeks ago and we looked at some of the AI features, but what I want to do today is look at the Honor 400, so the non-Pro variant, and decide which one you should buy. So let's start off with looking at the non-Pro 400 series. So this is available in three different colours. So it's available in Desert Gold, Meteor Silver, which is what I've got here, and Midnight Black. So I think the colours look very good and it feels very well built. As you can see, the 400 non-Pro variant has got two cameras on the back, which we'll get into later, whereas the 400 Pro has a 3-camera setup, so it's slightly different. But the main sensor is the same, which is kind of the key selling point of the 400 series, is that 200 megapixel sensor. Also, you've got a slightly lighter phone, so the 400 non-Pro variant is about 184 grams and the Pro variant is about 205 grams. So you've obviously got more weight in the 400 Pro version. And then in the, also you've got a slightly bigger screen. So the 400 Pro has a 6.7-inch OLED, AM OLED display, and the 400 version has a 6.5-inch AM OLED display. And the resolution is slightly different on the 400, but I have to say, having looked at both phones side by side, they look identical and it's a great screen. I've been very impressed with the Honor 400 series screen. I think it's one of the best mid-range screens I've seen. I tried out the Oppo Reno series recently and that screen wasn't as good in my opinion as the Honor 400 series, and about the same price as well. So you've got some key differences on the storage side of things as well. So the Honor 400 non-Pro variant is available in 8GB of RAM only, and it goes up to 512GB of RAM, up to about £400 when it's on offer, about £450 when it's not on offer. Whereas the Pro variant goes up to 12GB of RAM only and 512GB of storage. They're only available in one configuration, which is fine, but the cost-wise it's more expensive, about £700. You can get it for about £550 at the moment on offer. So you're looking at about £150, £200 difference in the phone, depending on when offers are available and things like that. So what I want to do then, is it worth going for the Pro over the 400? So I have had both phones. I've tested both phones out. I've been testing the 400 series out recently. I've had the 400 Pro. That I don't have that anymore. I bought that for a friend. That's now gone back to them. So I just want to go over some sort of my real world experiences with the 400 non-Pro variant and the 400 Pro. So performance is one key difference here. So we've got a Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 in the 400 and a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 in the 400 Pro. So that is a key difference because obviously in the 400 series you've got less RAM, a slower processor and slightly inferior screen. So the things start to add up here and you can see where corners are possibly being cut, but actually the phone itself doesn't feel too slow in everyday use. So I've used the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 phone before and I thought it was a bit sluggish, but actually in the Honor 400 series, I don't know what Honor have done to this phone, but it runs quite smoothly in the OS system. Obviously, if you load up the latest games like Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact and Pug Mobile, it's going to play them but at a very low frame rate. So if you're into gaming, you're going to have to get the Pro. So the 8 Gen 3 is a great CPU for gaming. A lot of manufacturers are still using it over the 8 Elite because it's cheaper to use, produces less heat, and it still handles frame rates quite well on games and also in video editing tasks and stuff like that. So it's still a powerful CPU. And also the camera runs quite well on the 8 Gen 3 as well, but also on the 7 Gen 3 it runs well, but the camera has got some cutbacks, which we'll get into in a minute. So performance-wise, if you are into gaming, you're going to have to go, I would recommend going for the Pro and pay the £150 extra. But if you're not bothered about that, you just want a phone that's got a decent screen and has a relatively good camera, then the 400 series is quite a good. The 400 non-Pro variant, save yourself 150 quid and look at that one. It's very well made and has some nice colours. So the 400 Pro also has so they both have, the 400 and 400 Pro both have a 200 megapixel camera on it. So they both have a optically stabilized 200 megapixel f.19 camera, which is their ultra clear AI camera. So this is Honor's main selling point of both phones, is that you can have a 200 megapixel picture and you can zoom right in up to 30 times or even more than that to get like a crop of digital zoom. And it does work pretty well, and Honor's AI enhances the image as well, and I'll show you some shots in this video how good it is from zooming in quite a long way. I think AI and Honor have come on leaps and bounds over the years, and we're now seeing how it can actually help you in everyday life. And I find Honor's AI stuff quite fun to play with and actually quite useful. So for example, like the image to video is quite fun, but also good because then you can take a picture of an old photograph and bring it to life, a painting, and it's just good fun. And it's available on the 400, on the 400 Pro, and the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 doesn't have any problems running it. So I'm guessing it's probably cloud-based, some of it. It seems to run very well on both phones, so I haven't noticed the difference between the 8 and the 7 on the AI side of things. So that 200 megapixel main camera can take some great detailed shots on both phones, and as you expect, it's the same sensor. You get very similar results. Maybe the Snapdragon 7 Gen 3 is a little bit slower, and when you take the 200 megapixel main high resolution photos, which you can do, than the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. That's one thing to watch out for. Then obviously on the Pro, you've got the 50 megapixel telephoto. So if you are into your telephoto shots and you like to take long range shots, then probably going to have to go for the Pro, because the telephoto is actually quite good on the 400 Pro. But you haven't got a telephoto on the 400, you've just got an ultra wide at 12 megapixels. So the 400 series, the mid-range 400 series just relies really on that 200 megapixel main sensor to get those shots. The ultra-wide on the 12 megapixel isn't too bad. It's the same ultra-wide on the Pro as well, so you're really just looking at that telephoto you're missing out on between the 400 and the 400 series. So I really like telephoto shots. I like telephoto portraits. Obviously, you can take telephotos on the 400 series. It's just going to be a digital zoom crop in rather than actually a full-on sort of telephoto image on the main lens. So just to bear that in mind is one thing to look at. So in terms of the video performance on the camera, on the 400 non-Pro variant, you don't get HDR, so you get 4K 30 maximum resolution on video. Whereas on the Pro variant, you get 4K 60 HDR, or 4K 30 HDR as well. So you get a slightly better camera module, some slightly better camera software on the 400 Pro variant because of that faster CPU, whereas on the slower 7 Gen 3 you can't take HDR video, and also you get low resolution 4K. So just something to bear in mind. But the selfie camera on both is very similar. It's a 50 megapixel selfie camera, and actually it's one really good selfie camera because it's such high resolution. So for selfie portraits, this takes great images, and I'll show you some video I've taken on the selfie camera on this of myself. It looks very good at high resolution, and also for doing selfies and group shots as well, because it has two different, you can zoom out and zoom in on it like a digitally enhanced wide-angle selfie. It works very well for selfies, so that's one thing to bear in mind. Also, you've got sort of IP rating on both phones. You've got IP68 and 69 on the 400 Pro, and a slightly less IP65 on the 400 series, which is fine. I think, look, they're both going to be quite waterproof. Unless you're going to be throwing it in the water, then the IP65 is fine. I think if you're going to spill a drink on it, you're not going to notice on either phone. But if you do accidentally drop it in the water or happen to put it in the dishwasher, for example, then you're going to need the IP68, IP69 rating on the 400 Pro. But just, I think the difference there is negligible. So it's adding up to the fact that it's worth spending the additional money on the 400 Pro if you want that faster CPU, so if you're into gaming, or you want the faster performance on the camera, and you want better cameras, you want the telephoto performance and the 4K 60 HDR video and stuff like that. So if you're not bothered about the camera, you're not bothered about the processor, go for the 400. It's an easy no-brainer. If you want the faster camera and the faster processor and you're into gaming, then go for the 400 Pro. It's worth £150 difference. So that's kind of trying to help who should buy what. I think both phones are very good and are very sensibly priced. I think the 400 Pro is an incredible phone for the money, and I think the 400 non-Pro is a very good value phone for a mid-range phone. So I've tried phones out like the Oppo Reno, which are in the same price range, and I think the Honor 400 is better. So the new Magic OS 9, which both phones run, is pretty good. It's got some really cool AI features on it that are actually useful and not Google-based. So it does have Google Lens and all that on it, the same as any other Android-based phone, but it does have some unique Honor features on it. And I'm going to do a whole separate video on the AI side of these on these phones again, because I think there's some really cool AI features, not just on the camera, but like writing assistant, email assistant, and Honor's really pushing boundaries with AI. And I think it deserves a separate video to show you some cool features on it. So we'll get into that later on. So this is just a quick video to let you know what features are on both phones and who should buy what. There obviously is more features on these phones that I've not gone over, and I'll show you some shots on the cameras to get you some idea, and we'll do some more content on this later on when we've gone into some more detail. So thank you for watching, and I'll speak to you next time, and please do subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Thank you.